Let's try this now I have the camera actually turned on. Rookie mistake on my part. Hey, it's LJ and welcome to another edition of LJ Reacts. For those of you who don't know, this is my little YouTube channel where I kind of go back in time just to try and catch up with some of the pop culture events that seemingly passed me by in sort of my 20s and my 30s due to the fact real life tends to get in the way sometimes. It's terrible when that happens, isn't it? So, in doing so, I'm kind of going back and I'm reacting to, like I said, all these pop culture events that have gone past. A lot of it seems to be music videos at the minute, which, hey, I have no problem with. So there have been some pretty awesome songs that both I've sort of come across and have been suggested to me over the last, year or so of me doing this. So yeah, if there's a song well, not just a song, film, video game, whatever, you think that I'd enjoy doing, chuck it in the comments below if it's something I've not sort of come across in the past. Yeah, you know what, I will give it a go because I'm that kind of guy. In fact, you know what else kind of guy I am? I'm the kind of guy you just want to like. Not the worst transition to that bit. Don't forget, if you want to see me in person, all my stand-up dates, if I have any booked at the minute, I don't think I do, are on my little link tree there, as well as any other projects I've got in the pipeline, or any other projects that have materialized from the pipeline. I think most are kind of in sort of the pre-production stages at the minute, so but they'll turn up there eventually. And of course, if you've got some spare change to hand, you don't know what to do with it, you can always just leave it in the tip jar, just to show you enjoy what I'm doing. Keeps me in water, don't you know? Almost as good as Evian. Right. So that's all the admin out of the way. Did I say like, share, subscribe? Let's get on to what we are talking about today. When it comes to rock and roll, one of the biggest acts in like the 70s is probably the band Kiss, which is really kind of weird to think about from a musical perspective, because you actually break down Kiss songs while they're fun to listen to and dance along to. There's not actually a lot to them, so musically they never really inspired like a great wave of guitarists or drummers or whatever, because there just wasn't that much to the songs. Year into playing the guitar, I tried looking up some Kiss stuff and I was like, oh, that's it? But one thing they definitely have inspired is the aesthetic. There's something about the makeup that's just iconic. Everyone pretty much has seen the Kiss makeup. They sort of see it, even if they only know Gene Simmons for one of like the TV projects he's been involved with. There is still something about the four painted faces that just resonates with people. And that seems to be their biggest legacy. Either that or just, the intensity of their live shows, which I've seen them once and can safely say it's a recommend if you like your music loud and your pyrotechnics slightly louder. It's all good. It's all good fun. But yeah, like I said, so their lasting legacy seems to be the face paint, which brings me on to who I'm covering today. So the face paint, like I said, is their lasting legacy, and it's inspired a few sort of knockoff bands, but there's been a band in sort of like the last sort of 10, 15 years that really has sort of doubled down on the face paint, and they've taken it and they've sort of brought it into like, they've kind of created almost their own sort of universe, but with their main guy with the black and white sort of face paint, which, I mean, maybe it's just a complete coincidence, but it does seem to be very Kiss inspired. As well as that, there is a very nice sheen to some of the music that I have heard from them, which could very well go back to Kiss. So yeah, for those of you who haven't picked up already, the band I'm looking at today is Ghost. Is there a particular reason for this? I mean, I guess it is late October, but still a little early. Still a little early. But yeah, so I'm going with Ghost. Like I said, I've heard sort of odds and ends from them sort of over the years, just sort of hearing stuff on the radio, and I kind of so I know what they sound like. It's really weird. You sort of look at them and you think, and they look like they're going to be a really sort of heavy, sort of raw band, and then you listen to their music, it's completely unlike that, but it still perfectly fits the way they look. So other than Tobias, the frontman, no one knows who the lineup of Ghost is, which is an interesting choice. Some would say, oh yes, that's just to draw attention, to put the attention on the music. Others would say, oh, it kind of creates a mystery in itself, which, I mean, could go either way. They say it's try not to take away from the music, but there's always going to be that element of, well, who are they behind the makeup? Some people have been revealed as former members and sort of guest members, but yeah, there is no definitive list of the members of Ghost, at least other than the frontman. So yeah, like I said, I've heard a lot of their stuff. They do, apparently, from what I've been told, they go through sort of like I said, they have their own universe set up, and they sort of go through sort of like set phases, almost like the MCU, except without branching off into various sort of directions or elements. So yeah, in fact, I heard one of the tracks from their recent EP. It was a cover of Genesis, Jesus He Knows Me. That video is interesting. What's the old Frankie Boyle joke? The Bible says that a man who lays with another man should be stoned because it helps. Well, I think the director of that video saw that joke and got inspired. If you've not seen it, I'll chuck it up there in the corner because it applies. It really does. But like I said, I only sort of tangent. I'm only aware of like the band in passing. I've heard a few of their songs, but I was kind of flicking through for something to do because it's the end of October, and I was like, oh, maybe go sort of gimmicky like I did last year. I've got something coming up in the next that will be dropping around Halloween, which fulfills that. But I am still looking for a couple of ideas, maybe to stick either side. So if you've got any like particularly Halloweeny stuff that you want me to check out, chuck it in the comments below. Moving away from that though, the song I'm going about today is it's one of their first. It's off their second EP, Pope Star. The EP that became first in like 10 years to top the Billboard album charts in the US, at least the Billboard rock charts in the US. And it is Square Hammer. As far as I'm aware, I've not heard this before, but this came up, like I said, on a list of like gimmicky Halloweeny metal songs. So I was like, well, it doesn't sound like a Halloween gimmick any more than the band does, but it's October. I'll give it a shout just to see what it's like. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. That's my introduction to that. Let's just check this out, shall we? Here we are, Ghost with Square Hammer. definitely have heard this before. This very much sounds familiar. Yeah. Funny, I brought up the Genesis cover about an incident in a limousine, and that's the first image you get. I'm probably completely unrelated, but it's just random on my phone. Do love sort of a retro vibe. Yeah, there are certain bands who can just pull it off great. While I'm not a big My Chemical Romance fan, there's just some of the stuff back in the day Gerard Way did, sort of around the second and the third album, that just where he went kind of retro, and it just really worked. There's just something about him, and the Ghosts are doing it here. There's certain bands who can't pull it off, but yeah, this is working for me right now. Definitely getting the feeling of like some of the classic Dracula films. There's some. I remember a few years ago I watched like the original Nosferatu, and that's where so many of like the original traits come from that aren't in the Bram Stoker book. Yeah, I'm sort of feeling a bit of the vibe there. Am I the only one who's disappointed that you see someone raise a hammer, get struck by lightning, and they don't turn into Thor? Am I just too involved? Am I just watching too many Marvel films? Well, not that Donald Blake is in the Marvel films, but you get what I'm saying. I feel I'm starting to lose it. So that was Ghost with Square Hammer. Yeah, that's like I said, it is definitely a song I've heard before, so I kind of feel like it's kind of dampened my ranking. But give me a sec, and I'll be back with some final thoughts. That was Ghost with Square Hammer. I don't know. There is something for a kind of metal band. There's something quite poppy about them, but I don't feel that's a knock on them. There is something that they do have, like a unique appeal to them, because they are not because they're not strict, because they're not like a hard rock band, despite the fact they look like they could very easily just be like proper sort of goth metal, not Marilyn Manson, actual goth metal type band. But yeah, I can definitely see why so many people sort of fawned over this song in 2016. It's really there is really something unique to it, and really something just enjoyable about it. And sometimes that's what you want in sort of hard rock music. You know, yeah, it's great. It's having it, sort of the angst and the sadness thrown in there, but sometimes you just need to change it up. Gonna be honest, like I said, I've heard this song on the radio a few times, and even watching the video, I'm still not sure what it's about. I see a guy picking up a square hammer to attack Dracula, and yes, I'm still disappointed he didn't turn into Thor. But I did love like the retro vibe to it. And they even had like a bit of the Last Action Hero with them reaching out the screen. So yeah, I mean musically, often I sort of talk about how the music sort of, I try and deconstruct it, but I don't know. There is the Kiss sheen I talked about in the start is very much apparent here, and I don't know. Like I said, it is part of the package that just works for me. In short, if I was to do this, if I was to rank this like I normally would, to be honest, if this was the first time I heard this would have been one of the higher ones I've done this year. Just because like I said, I've heard it before, and I'm kind of familiar with it. It's not a particularly standout song, but it's still really well put together, so it's going to sit at a 7, just purely just because of how familiar I am with it. So yeah, that's that. And this is where you can like me. This is where you can see me live, if at all, and that is where you can chunk your spare change. Other than that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, because if you like this and you share it and someone else sees it, they may like it and they may join the community, and that grows this community. And you know, the more people who are watching this channel, the more inspiration it is for me to produce more content. The more content you get, which obviously you enjoy because you like the channel. And don't forget to ring the bell. Not enough people are doing that. Either that, or I've just put up some really unpopular videos lately. One or the other. But make sure you do one, so I know it's not the other. So yes, so that is all I got for you for this time. Like I said, I do these every Monday and Thursday is usually the days I go out, sometimes a little late depending on reasons. I have a couple of unique things coming out over Halloween, so check those out. I'm going to be taping one of them tonight, hopefully, so see how that works out. Until then, until next time, I've been LJ. It's been emotional.
I wanna swear
pause the recording. More time in the editing bay for me. Alright, well, here we are. Ghost with Square Hammer. Let's try pressing the play button. And that's where the camera battery dies.